All right. Welcome. I'm going to use the mic simply because that's how it's able to be on recording. So when you guys ask questions, if I repeat the question, it's so that the people who watch it later, or if you guys want to refer back to it, can hear it on there. Sometimes I forget, so you guys can help remind me if I need to do that too. My name is Amber. I think I was able to shake anyone's hand that I don't know, so that it's nice to put a face to a name finally. I appreciate you all being here. We could not be doing this ministry without all of you here. I do see a few of you that snuck in without signing in the back, so make sure you do that. 2 in the front row, which is fine. Your coach book is back there, though, as well. So I'm just going to open this up in prayer, and then we'll get started talking about some of the admin stuff and go from there. So, Lord, we just thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, to be a part of this ministry that you started here at Calvary, and just to be able to serve our community and the kids and families that are involved in it. I thank you for all these helpers that are giving of their time and their heart and to pour into this ministry and these kids and these families. I pray that you'd be with us tonight, help us in this time of fellowship, help us as we are able to talk about the rules and moving forward and just what we desire this ministry to look like for you. And we just give you tonight, and we ask you to be here with us. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Again, thank you all for being here. I couldn't run this ministry without you. You are such a blessing. Those of you that are willing to give of your time and your heart, as I said, to be able to pour into these kids is huge. So thank you. The goal of our ministry here obviously is we're playing soccer and we're doing fun things, but it's to share Jesus with the kids that are here. It's to make connections with them. It's to show them the love of the Lord and just teach them in that group setting. And so Matt will go into more about the devotions of it, but as much as we're here to learn about soccer, we really want, and teach them soccer, we want to make sure that we keep the devotion portion and prayer time and really pouring into those kids at the center of why we're here and what we're doing on practices and game day and things like that, okay? So I'm going to just go through, I've kind of got my list of different things that I go down so that you guys are aware of kind of the admin portion of it and the structure of the league, and you guys can ask questions if they come up, let me know. The biggest thing is, so we have signing in the back, making sure, it did shut off there, so I don't need quite yet. Sign in when Matt is going to kind of talk the second portion of training here, and while he's doing that, I'm going to pass out anyone who ordered coat shirts. If you ordered a short sleeve shirt, not the polo shirt, but just the t-shirt, it's going to be in the boxes with your team stuff. If you ordered something separate, different than that, then I'm going to give that to you tonight. And then at the end, I'm going to give you your rosters and then your boxes and your water bottles and things like that to be able to give to your teams. So communication. So the best way to get a hold of me is through email. So if you email me, I see that come through. I'm totally fine with you texting me. I will get back to you as soon as I'm available to. So if you don't have my cell phone number from me texting you at some point, let me know and I can get that to you. So you are welcome to text me. Sometimes texts can get lost though. I'm a mom of 3 that homeschools and does different things. If I open it during a time and then get pulled away with my kids and then all of a sudden 3 days later, I'm like, I thought I responded to it, but I really didn't. I'm not offended if you text me the next day like, hey, did you get this text, or different things. That's why emails seem to catch my attention when I sit down in the evening and do that if I don't always with text. So please feel free to text me multiple times, though, if I haven't responded within the day or something. As far as getting a hold of Matt, band is a great option to get a hold of him, and I know he is good with you guys texting, right? I will. If things come up and I'm like, he can answer that, I'll text him and be like, hey, did you see that thing on band? So... but you can text him through band or then also get his number. And then Justin is who is in control is who is running the ref schedule and everything. And so tomorrow we have a ref meeting at 6:00 on Zoom. I will post that link on band. Any coach is welcome to join that, as far as he's just going to go over the rules for the refs and how he wants them to run it. So 3rd through 6th grade, you guys will have refs for your games. Kindergarten through second, the coaches ref those games. So any third through fourth grade team that would like to join that so that you see how refs are going to be running it, you are welcome to sit in on that meeting as well. Communication with parents and your team, that is through the My Upwards link, which I had sent you guys, was it yesterday or Saturday? I think it was yesterday. And so I'm going to have to bend down here so that I'm not just bent over. I wanted to show you guys how to run that Upwards link, if this is going to work for me. Oh, okay. I didn't see. I don't know why it's not. Oops, that's not the page I wanted. Okay, let's try this again here. It didn't hook to Wi-Fi for some reason. Sorry, guys. Okay, I guess we'll run it off my phone, but that doesn't have great signal either. Sorry for the technical difficulty here. I wanted to show you guys that app for those that haven't seen it. Okay. All right, this is loading here. Okay, so when you open up yours on your phone, it's going to look similar to this, just the center portion right here. All right, and so if I go into as a coach, and we're going to look at the iguanas, okay? So you're getting started. This kind of just gives you information about getting started. Coach information. So under team is where you're going to manage your team. So you can see here, I do see the New Jersey thing. So you can put jersey number in, and then this is your ranking, which Matt will talk about how the ranking works. This is not ranked by us. This is just put in right here. So after your first practice, you're going to want to go in and rank your players from top to bottom in here. This small section right here that says team page, okay, this is the team page that all the parents got. They do not have this Upwards system. They get their team page, which looks like this. And so this shows the coach name, assistant coach, coach information for contact, my information for contact, all the practice times and what field to be on, and then this will be where the game schedule is, and it will tell you which side jersey to wear, what color jersey to wear in here as well, okay? So if one of your parents is like, I don't have the team page, this is where you can send that link. You can go to the team page, copy and paste that, and then text that to them. But they did get it from me yesterday. Practice resources. So everything in your book right there is right here as well. So you can have practice plans, your devotional plans, your skills and drills, and your rules are right here in this app. See if it's communication. So here is where you can do email, text, or team alert. And then it goes down and you can mark each individual. So if you don't want to go out to everyone, but only certain parents, then you can mark that down at the bottom. So that's where you find that communication. Several coaches have said that they like taking just the numbers out and creating a group text on their phone instead of using the system. That's an option as well, but the system is here to be able to utilize. And then game day play. So in here is where you're going to have your rotation for game day. So this shows you, I click the first game. So it does your first half, these are the players that are going to play. Then your next half, these are the players that are going to play. And this helps you rotate through so everyone gets that equal playing time. And it's by your ranking. So all of your best players are playing the other team's best players to help keep it balanced in that. And then up here, if you need to change the lineup, it's all in here. If you need to reactivate a player, so like if you take a player out, when you go to games, it should give me, so like here, if I want to delete this player, I would put here, and you can delete the player. Excuse me, if they aren't there, and then let's say they show up after the first quarter, then you can go back to up here, and you can reactivate that player. So that's how you can do that within your lineup on your app. Okay. Questions on the app and how it works for you? Yes. What exactly was the communication? Yep. Team alert. What does that look like for parents? What is that? Does it just show up on the home screen on their team page? I have no idea. Let me see here. Show alert for start displaying this. I believe so. So let's see. What's today? Today is the 24th of March. Is it the 24th of? The 25th. 25th. I'm like, that's Sunday. Okay, 25th. So then tomorrow, we'll just end it tomorrow. I hope this doesn't. Let's see what happens. Hi. Now let's go to his team page and redo it. Yes. So it goes on your team page. That's new. So the team alert you can put on there, team alert, and then you can type things to your team on your team page. That's great. So, and then I'm sure I can go in here and play. For a team alert. Tyler isn't here. Tyler, are you here? Yeah, you can do the text message. So try a team alert and let me know if the team gets a team alert. If so, his whole team just got a message that says hi or to go to your team page. So, perfect. Any other questions on the app? For referees, I've never actually gone in here to see, but you have a get started portion. You then have all of your resources as well. So you have coaches and refs, game day resources, so all of what's in your referee book, and then your schedule. So I will, once I finish the game schedule, Justin will get it. He will send it out to you guys. You'll sign up for where you're going to ref. I will put it in the system, and then your games will show up right here in your app. And this technically isn't an app, it's a website, but you can save it to your phone as if it was an app that you can just click on it. So if you need help doing that, let me know afterwards and I can help you set that up so you can just click on it as if it was an app. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. I'm going to leave that for a minute then and move forward. So we talked about how to use that communication, all the things on there. In the My Upwards, to keep track. If you need, so going down kind of the list, you're going to have your team boxes in the back there that I'm going to get you. You're going to have in there a box for each player. If you're missing boxes, there's 3 players that signed up later, and I should have let you know that that's not going to be in there, and when they come in, I will get those to you. In the boxes, the kids will have a jersey. And if they ordered shorts, they have shorts, but they had to pay for those shorts. Those don't come in it. Everyone gets a pair of socks, and then you're getting water bottles in a bag because those came separate, so then you give each kid a water bottle as well. The other thing you're going to have in your boxes, if you ordered the short sleeve shirt, yours will be in there. You will have practice cards. So for each practice, there is a card with a verse and information that you're going to go over in the devotional that you can pass out to the kids. And then you're also going to have the stickers. So the sticker books, I'm sorry, I don't have an example here, but you get stickers and there's different colors. And those you're going to pass out. There's certain ones for practice, and then there's ones for the game of different attributes that you see in the players. And I know to us it's like, oh, it's a sticker, but they're really important to the kids. They look forward to getting those. A lot of kids like to put them on their water bottles. So I didn't order the posters this year because most of those posters are ginormous, which most parents are like, where in the world am I going to put this? And then they just get thrown away. So we didn't get posters. We just got the water bottles, and then they can put their stickers on the water bottle and have them every year or everything to show what they earned, basically. So that's fun. Really encourage your players to write their name. So there's a spot on the side of the water bottle to write their name, and then they have their stickers. That will help them identify them since they all look alike, and everyone's going to be picking them up, and we don't want that. We want everyone to have their own water bottle and not be sharing, but that's just a mom speaking there. If you need a sub for either practice or a game, please let me know, and then start with trying to find a parent that can fill in. So obviously your assistant coach is going to be your first one. If a head coach is going to be gone, your assistant coach, you're just going to be head coach. Try to find a parent volunteer to be your assistant that just kind of helps wrangle the kids or keep them in line on the sidelines, right? If both of you are going to be gone, let me know. If you have an assistant coach that isn't 18, we just need a parent that is obviously over 18. We need an adult there, and then the assistant can still run everything. We just have to have that adult there. And if you do have an assistant that is under 18, they are perfectly capable of running it. We just need to have that 18-year-old to be the responsible one that's there, okay? So start there. If you can't find a parent that feels comfortable to be able to do that, let me know, and then I can help find another coach to fill in. Another great way to do that is you can even post on Band. I'll have coaches sometimes post, hey, I'm going to be gone this day for this game. Is there anyone willing to fill in for me? And if someone has a game around that, then they can help fill in maybe for you. And if that happens, I can add that coach in the system so they can run it the same way through their app for your team. If that makes sense, on the back end, I can do that. So logistics of practice. We'll start with practice. So all of our equipment is kept behind our sanctuary in a green trailer. That is behind a fence. So the key for the fence and the trailer is in the office with Jackie. So that is going to change, isn't it? Okay. Are we getting the Connex up here? The 8th. Well, we're going to have to figure that up here. Okay. By the Connex out there. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to let you know about that on Band, but what will happen is it will be locked up somewhere. The one challenge is most of my practices start at 5:30 this year instead of 4:30, so the office is closed. So I'm going to figure that out for you guys too and post it on Band because that's kind of changing. A few things obviously are going to be changing this year that a lot of communication is going to happen through Band. So just check that when things come up, and I'll just keep you up to date on there so you can always go back and everyone can see it. I try to post pictures so things don't get hidden so that you can easily scroll through it and be like, oh, here's equipment and here's this and here's that, to try to help with that. So we'll let you know with that. But we have small fields, or for our fields for practice, by the sanctuary, there's the large field next to it. That's where all of the kindergarten through second players play. We set up 3 different fields. That will only be game time. We're only using field 2 and 3 for practice. We do have lower numbers this year. We had the amount of players, we just didn't have the amount of coaches. So that's why I am very thankful for all of you that were willing to step up and help so that as many kids as we could to get to go through the program. So the 2 fields will run closest to the fire lane, and I'll send out a map again on Band for this. And then our 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th practice on the baseball field. Basically, there's a baseball back out there. And so that's where you're going to practice with the larger goals. Those will be set up for you. The smaller ones you have to pull out yourself to set up. And then each team will have, well, not each team, but each field will have a bag of balls that will be labeled field 3, field 2, field 1, field 4, and so those will be labeled. If any of your players ask, 3rd through 5th plays with, or 3rd through 6th plays with size 4 ball, and then kindergarten through 2nd plays with size 3 ball, okay? So that kind of gives you an idea of what all of those things are. I will have someone obviously open it, and then someone in charge of closing the trailer and locking it at the end, making sure if you have that 6:30 practice ending at 7:30, all the equipment from all the fields get back in, you close it up, lock it, and then move on from there, okay? Do you guys have questions about equipment? I know that was kind of vague. I will get pictures out to you before because that's changing a little bit, but as far as... So your younger age group, kindergarten through 2nd, will have 8 balls because there's 8 players. And then your 3rd through 6th grade has 12 players, so there'll be 12 balls. Okay? Do you guys want another one in there for coaches? Usually coaches just kind of grab one of the kids and just show. That good? Okay, so it'll be 8 and 12 in there. You will also have a bin, just one moment, a bin that will have some little cones in it and then some practice jerseys in it so that you can utilize those as well. So the bins for the larger field will have 6 jerseys in it, and then the smaller fields will have 4. So it'll be half. Was that your question? What's it? Yes, I'll have pennies in there. Pennies, yes. That's right. Any other questions for equipment? Any of that? Nope. Okay. And then, so your game day commissioner is what we call him, is Derek Bauer. So I will probably be around. You'll see me some around on game day when my kids are playing, but Derek will be the one in charge running it unless he can't be there. I know there's one day that he can't be there that it'll probably be me. But otherwise it'll be Derek that you'll be touching base with and in charge of everything. How game day runs is, this is also something that's changing this year, and I will let Matt talk about that, but just the structure is the kids will line up somewhere where I will send that picture, and they'll run through a tunnel. So Derek will announce the names, they'll get a run through the tunnel, then you'll go to your fields, we'll open in prayer on the fields, so either the coaches will run that or the referees will run that, and then play will start, okay? And then the only other thing I really have for you guys is important dates. So this week, I asked that you guys split up, whether it's head coach and assistant coach both calling, you split the teams, or if just head coach wants to call, but that every player gets a personal phone call from someone today. That first initial phone call is really important. Just let the parents know, the kids know you're excited to meet them when practice starts, and if they have any questions, if they have anything that they wanted to share with you about their kid that would help you through the season, things like that. Just make that personal contact with the families, and try to have that done by the 31st. And then the 31st is when I need all of the ministry safe training done. I know there's only a few of you left, and some of you are still waiting for that video to come out to you, which should be probably tomorrow. And then April 8th is when season starts. So that first practice that week is when practices start. And then your first game day is the 20th of April, and those run through June 1st every Saturday. The 26th, April 26th is a Friday. There is no practices that day on campus because we have our ministry conference going. So if you have a Friday practice, you need to contact me, and I'll post something on Band for you to be able to put in there, but we need to reschedule your practice sometime in that week at a different day. Okay, just that 1 week that we have to do that. That's the 4th week of practice that we'll need to reschedule that. Yes. That's what I'm going to let him talk to you about here. Yes, but Kennewick High. Yep. And so then the 27th is, what did I miss? The 26th. So it's a Friday. Anyone who has a Friday practice, I'll need to talk to. And then the 27th is picture day. I am working that out right now with our photographer. Because we're moving games to Kennewick High, it's not going to be too much of a change, other than I think pictures still are going to be here in our amphitheater, and then games over there, but we have to get them through pictures before and then give. I talked to Barrett, so maybe we can chat about this, and we talked about the park that's by it, but he wasn't sure. There wasn't any background or lighting space where the fields are, he thought that would work, so we can chat about that. So it's not finalized. So I will let you know about pictures as well. But then the last game day, the one thing I want to talk to you about was the last game day was June 1st. And those games are going to be here. So it's only 6 games that are going to be at Kennewick High. And then the last one is going to be here. And it will run our normal 9:15, or what it has been in the past, the morning through, because we're going to run our end-of-season celebrations between the 2 sets of games like we've done in the past 2. So I'll run a 9:15 game and an 11:30 game, and at 10:30 all those teams from those games will come to the sanctuary for our end of season celebration, where we'll pass out the gifts and talk to the families and get to spend some time with our teams, and then go out and do that. And then the second end of season celebration will happen between the other two games. Okay, so that, just know that that will be back here, and I'll communicate all of that. Lastly, we have, if weather is an issue, we leave weather discretion as far as if you're going to cancel practice up to you guys as a coach. The only thing is, if there's lightning, it's an absolute cancel. You need to get off the fields. If you're on the fields and it starts storming and you see lightning, practice is done. Everyone needs to leave, right? But if it's rain, hail, any of that, wind, it's up to you guys of what you decide you want to have happen, unless Matt calls me and says it's going to be canceled, or I talk to him and we cancel the whole thing. But the likelihood is it'll just be, he doesn't like to cancel anything unless there's lightning. So I'm the mom that's like, there's kindergartners, and he's like, come on. So at your discretion. Cleats, shin guards, our kids need shin guards for sure, and cleats are recommended. If you see some players without them on your team that need them, I still have the donations in my office that we can look and see if there's sizes. And even if there isn't and they still, the family is in need of them, talk to me, because we have donations that are available to help with that as well. Okay? Yeah. They are.
Yeah, players still wear cleats.
Yep. Regular cleats. Yeah.
You don't have to have special cleats. My players just wear their regular cleats.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. When you have practice, parents are required to stay on campus, okay? So this gets harder when the kids are older, but it is important that they know that they're supposed to stay. We never want you guys in a situation where you're left alone with the kids. We have the ministry safety go through and things like that. So assistant coaches definitely stay until all of the kids are gone. We want at least 2 adults there. Never be alone with a kid. It is not your responsibility to take a child to the bathroom. So those of you that are with the younger kids, coaches don't take kids to the bathroom. The parents are supposed to be there taking the kids to the bathroom, things like that. So that's not only for their safety, but your safety too, okay? You would never want a kid to say something that didn't happen, but then the kid said something and then we have to follow through with it, sort of thing. Okay, so just keep that in mind. This is about your safety as well. So never alone with a kid, and I will put that in an email that parents need to know. So if there's ever a point where that happens, because it has happened where they're like, oh, they'll never notice, and they sneak off, and then all of a sudden practice is over and it's like 5 minutes after, the parents show up, then you can let me know and then I can chat with them and stuff. So that's important. And then if there's any disgruntled parents, whether it's on game day, it's at practice, if you hear them talking on the sidelines a lot, please send them to me or Matt or Derek. Give them my email. We don't expect you guys to tolerate that or have issues with that. We would be happy to talk to them and pull them aside as well. Okay? Any questions for me in that? When it comes to the soccer stuff, the admin stuff, like how the games are set up, all the different things, doing the system, you talk to me about that, but any rules, regulations, things that have to do with soccer, even using the right lingo, you talk to him, because I still, after this many years, still say the wrong thing, like jersey instead of penny or different things like that. So I'm going to pass it off to him, and he's going to let you know all about the new things coming up.
Oh. And the rules?
Well,
what am I doing?
You're doing coach training.
Okay.
Training these coaches. I did have a picture for you that I was going to show them of the field.
Great.
So that they can see that. Oh, one other thing I did want to show. Oh, TV turned off on me, Mike. Mike's still in here?
Miguel.
I did not. Thank you. So, snap.
Oh, I thought you meant right now.
Yeah.
It's like I could go for that.
Yeah. That's a great thing. So as coaches, if you want to set up a snack schedule, that's great. I will post something on Band. I just have a generic blank one that you can use to sign up. You can create your own, but kids really do love that. One of the things, though, on the turf is food is not allowed on the turf. So there'll be a spot that I'll show you on here that you can go over and do your stickers and snacks and everything. This is a picture I just wanted to point out. So before you do practice and before you do a game, everyone can keep their eyes open for anything that's dangerous on the field or anything that could cause a hazard to a child. Please pay attention to those, check the field, and pull those off. There were a few times that these flags, lawn flags, were left on the field as they were playing games and different things, and those are incredibly dangerous. I know a child who has fallen on one of those, and it went through his eye and died.
Not here.
Not here. It was actually a long-distance cousin up in Cheney.
Wow.
So he was a high school kid that fell on one of
No
those.
way.
Yep. And so those are on our fields. And so when I saw those on the fields during game day, I was like, what is happening? So please just look for those things. We don't know it. We're like, oh, it's just a flag. But it's a metal flag sticking up that the right fall can be things. So just side note. So here is your picture. Let's see if I can get it bigger for you. Not to end on. That's going to cut it in some. But I'm going to, I still haven't learned my math completely on how to just make things bigger. That's kind of what you're going to do. If you can, I mean, you can zoom in more. It's just not going to show around the edges as much. But. So this is the spot right here, or off to the side. Sorry. This is a spot here or off to the sides where there's grass that you can pull your team to the side to do that game devotion. Like at the end, pray with your team, pass out those stickers, have them do snacks and things like that. So, and then, no, can't be on the track or on the turf. You have to take the kids off to the side. But I'll let him explain that more.
Well, yeah, you're going to bring some pop-up tents? So just so you know, this is all grassy area over here. And there's grass, some grass over here. There's a storage shed right here. And the whole thing, you can see the sidewalk right here. The entire place is chain link fenced. No. I quit at COVID. I did. Yep. Yeah. My C team played on this field. It's a good field. At least it was a couple, in 2020. But the nice thing is these are the bathrooms right here. Right there. That's where the bathrooms are. And so if you've ever gone to Lamson, we called Lamson the black hole because we lose soccer balls like crazy. And obviously you have the stands, and you can have people and kids go behind the stands. Everything here is right out in the open, and it's all chain link fenced in. And so it's I think it's going to be a good, safe place to have kids and to play. We did have a situation. First of all, I just want to say, let me just start from the beginning here. Most of you guys saw what I posted on Band, and I just want to thank you for your honesty and for being willing to participate in that. And I'm just so grateful that you guys coach. And I want to do everything I can to make as many of you, and if possible, all of you happy. Because you guys mean the world to us. And I don't ever want to come here and say, this is what I'm doing, get on board. I don't want to do that. Here's the situation, as most of you guys already know. I'm probably preaching to the choir, but our fields are not, number one, they're just not legal size. Let's just use that word. They're not appropriate size for a game. They're already small, and we've talked a little bit about that with some kindergarten coaches. But even more than that, we have 550 kids at our school, and they're on the grass every single day. And then on top of that, we have, after 5 o'clock, we have another hour, 2 hours of soccer on that every single day except Wednesday. And then an all-day event of soccer on Saturday. So every day of the week, that thing is getting stomped on by 600 kids, right? And it just destroys it. And so that picture that Amber brought up, not only is it... not only do you have the flags up there, but you just have those. You have exposed sprinklers. We try to keep up with it, And it's just it's a constant issue that grass never has a chance to revive. We got kids that go there and dig holes. You've seen me try to fill holes. They last a day filling that hole. And we've done everything we can to prevent that. And they're just, it's not safe is the deal. And so we talked a lot, and it's, the more people that you get involved in a discussion, you know how that goes, right? And so it's not like I'm trying to keep people out of it. It's just we're trying to come up with a good idea to present to everyone as best as we can, so we can have a lot of questions answered and things like that. I'll tell you how it started. It started me going, hey, let's just make this a 2-hour event. We can do 2 hours at Kennewick High, 2 hours at Lamson, and they both play at the same time. We can be done in 2 hours. But then we heard a lot of feedback that we got is like, we like the camaraderie here. It's an environment that we love, and you're taking that away from us. And people were pretty upset that there's this great family thing that's going on. There's this culture that I'm stealing from all of these people. So that's why I took it away from Lamson, brought it to Kennewick, and it's actually cheaper to have 5 hours at Kennewick High for 6 weeks than it is to do 2 hours at each, because Lamson's crazy expensive. It's like double. And so that's why we went for a full day at Kennewick. Probably the biggest disappointment is the time. People want morning games. And we had even some refs and coaches are like, and so I have been talking, I haven't spoken to everyone, but I have talked to a lot of people, and I'm trying to coordinate that. And I gave some of that info to Amber, where we've had some situations where coaches, they're like, I just can't do it after 4. So we've moved was it third and fourth, second and third grade? No, third and fourth grade. Yeah. Okay. So we moved one team that's first and second to actually play in the grass. So every week, that one team for first and second will play in the grass, and I'm actually going to try to get them on the turf if I can, while the kindergartners playing. So the idea right now is kindergartners will play. If I can actually do this. Okay. So what I'm going to try to do is at this 50-yard line right here, go in this direction, and it will probably be at the 40, right? And probably from the 40 to the Kennewick 0, if you will. That will be our bigger kids field, our 7v7s, and you're going to go from sideline to sideline. You're going to play this direction. So the 40 will be out of bounds, and then the Kennewick will be out of bounds. And so we'll have one, and you're going to use the 8x24 goals, so the real size goals. So they'll be big goals. And because they're there. If we'd gone to Lamson, I had 2 sets, but we're not. So we're at Kennewick. So we got 1 set. And so that's why at 3 o'clock, we'll start with 3rd and 4th grade, and then 3rd and 4th grade, and then 4th and 5th, and then 4th and 5th. And they will play on this section. And then on this section, we'll have at 3 o'clock kindergartners, and then I think I can get that one team of first and second. And then after that hour, it will be second and third, right? Did I do that right? And so, Amber, are we getting like 2 hours in for the little kids?
So the 3 o'clock game has all kindergartners and 1 for second.
Mm-hmm.
4:10 game has 2 games going, the first and second, and then the large field. The 5:20 games has 1 first and second team going, and the large field, and then the 6:30 game is just 1 large field.
Okay, so the first 2 hours are the younger kids. And then that third hour, there's 1. So if I can work it in to where I can get that second hour, if I can work that in.
You can get 3 fields on there.
Okay. It's a possibility. I might be able to do that. We might be able to go this direction. So I'll go there and work that out. Then we could have them done in the first 2 hours, possibly.
Well, actually, I can't because I have some coaches that coach 3 teams and they have to have these 3 hours because they're 3 different teams.
Oh, okay.
So I need that.
Yeah, that's an element that we've had to work out too. We have some coaches that are actually coaching 3 teams. You thought your life was tough, right? Yeah, right. Those are some crowns, some jewels in heaven right there. So what we'll do is we'll put out cones, and so you'll just so what you'll do, and they're only no. So what you'll do is, as far as this field that's going on here, you won't have to worry about that because that'll be your out of bounds, right? And then we'll probably put 1 or 2 on the 40, right? And then obviously you'll put the goals right here on the sideline, right here on the sideline, and you're only using like 3 cones. Does that make sense? We'll just. Oh, you know what? So what? You're worried about this field right here for the big field. So what we can do is, Amber, did you order those yet? Those dots? They've got dots, and we're going to do these for the little kids because you got your whole. What is that? That you got that what the no go zone, right? You have dots that actually go on the ground. They lay flat right on the ground, and you can see them. Well, yeah. So basically, what they are, and that's a good question because well, let me throw this out there. Are you because honestly, I was only thinking about the little kids' fields, about the whole no-go zone. I was like, well, just put dots down because you can walk on them. They're not in the way. The ball can roll over them. They just lie flat, flush with the ground. But that's a good question. I wasn't even going that distance. I've just always scrimmaged that way and never had a problem. Certainly, you can do your corner kicks, and we'll have flags here. Are you fine doing dots?
I mean, what are we going to do for
Like the area where the kid can.
down center, offsides,
Well, are you guys doing offsides? Offside? No, one guy's doing this. You guys were calling offside? They're going this direction, which is longer because it's. I think this is 60 yards. It's 180 feet. And you guys are getting something like 90 feet out here. So it certainly will be longer. And so if you want, you can have your dot. We can lay a dot out here, and that's your half line. That's where you can do your kickoff. And that's up to you as a ref if you want to do your offside that way. We can have you can have your dot out here for goal kicks.
center circles like a big running attention. Like as you get older, I don't know about you, but like my son is getting quick.
Yeah. You don't know about me, but your son's getting quick? What are you saying?
I'm wrong, but I'm saying
It's a little hurtful.
if there's no line as to where he has to stand outside, he's gonna get his.
If there's no line as far as a half line. Well, I mean, if you want, we can stick, a couple dots out here. I mean, you'll know because you can get your bearings with the hash marks right here. You can have a couple dots out there. The circle. Do you want a circle out of those dots?
Yeah, like maybe like 5 points.
We could probably do that. Is Amber still here? You saw those dots that I sent you about Amazon? Maybe order another set. Yeah, and we can make a circle out of it. And those dots, they just lie flush right on the turf. Any feedback on that? You guys care? Anyone? Speak now. What grade are you teaching? Coaching? Then you don't have to worry about it at all. Life is good. Peace be still.
Also use the dots for the penalty area.
Well, yeah, I don't think you guys are taking penalty shots, are you? Is that? Are you? You guys are going hardcore, man. She said, I just let the kids play. Scotty's like, yeah.
As the season goes on,
You increase.
play develops,
Yeah.
rules develop.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's not well, so you can yeah, if you want to, you can put a dot out there to mark the penalty spot. That's what you want. She'll order more dots, and if that's wigging you out, then
The bigger thing is just the box itself, because that's where you can use hands.
yeah, and we can do that. We can mark that out. And so if this is 60 yards, that's 20, right? So that would probably be about 20. That seems about right. So these are about 20 yards apart. Your 18 is going to come just a couple yards within these hashes. So you're going to be just on side of these hashes, and you can mark that. We can do that with dots if you guys want to. Yeah. That's what he was just saying. Yeah. So yeah, and that's a great. I didn't even really consider that because, like I said, we just play. that's what I was so used to doing. We were just out there playing. We might have actually put. I don't think we did, but we can. We can put those little dots out there and mark those spots out. That's not gonna be a problem. Those hashes will give you a good. You just step on that hash and come 2 yards in, and you'll be at 18. Yeah. There isn't a clock there to my knowledge, so it will still be on the ref to do that. Yeah, and I had actually considered doing that at Lamson. I played tournaments where it was just a shotgun call, and I kind of liked that, and maybe even Derek can do something like that. But when we did the tournament at Hanford, it literally, the game started when the whistle blew. Every game started when the whistle blew. That means if your team wasn't on the field, then you could go score. Yeah, it was awesome. So it just got everyone's ready. I think we actually scored a goal one time because the team wasn't ready. We were ready for it. But yeah, the teams you'll time it.
Is there any rules against us using like water soluble paint?
I don't want to put anything on that turf. Yeah, I don't want to. It's not my turf.
Say like maybe we should see if we can reserve South Hills for next year.
So South Hills, they run lacrosse on their fields. They have an organization that meets out there. It's not why they decided that they didn't want to do Upward anymore, and so they brought in lacrosse as kind of their way to reach out to the community. So they don't have to run it, but they feel like they're doing ministry. That's what I want to do. Yeah. So they're actually doing soccer now. That's new.
She actually reached out to me to see if we wanted to cross play a little bit, but her season was different, and she was short on teams.
They in the fall?
No, they're now, but they run March through the beginning of May or something.
Oh.
So they get done mid-May, and run it a little different. But it is soccer there too.
Yeah. But I could, if you guys want, I could try to feel them out. I'm game. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Question.
Okay. Parents sitting, like where are they going to be sitting?
Yeah. So,
To have like the sunshade and chairs, like
yeah. So all these right here, these are bleacher seating. Someone said, "Oh no." It's not far, guys. I've been there. It's not far. Oh boy. Man. They're turning on me. They're turning on me. Everyone's going down. Okay. So listen, I don't have a problem if you guys want to sit on the turf, but one, you can't have drinks on that turf. I'm going to ask about that because I'm not quite sure. I know that they don't want bicycles on it, but I can ask about people putting. I'll ask and feel her up. Yeah, they're not going to want food or drink on it. I don't think. Really, honestly, the thing that they care about is Gatorade. And so if it's water, but if you're going to, I don't care, but if we wreck it, see ya. I can feel her out. I can feel her out on that. Yeah. So I'm getting a sense here that you hate the idea of sitting at the bleachers. We hate it. That's so far away. You know what? Where's the where are you at here?
That's it. We're gonna have to get dots to rope off the kid's parents area. Get those dots out.
What about sitting in the end zones?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes.
My daughter played NCAA soccer with Bethel in the fall. Is it an option to use their fields out there in Bethel?
I could feel them out.
Just because I know they're not using them for any other activities right now. I wonder if that.
I could feel them out.
They've got all the space and all different fields.
So they play soccer when?
We play soccer with NCAA in the
Okay. And they're not doing football out there?
They're not doing football. They're not doing spring. They aren't doing anything in spring.
Okay.
So.
Joshua said unofficially he talked to them yesterday, and they're not doing it.
Okay. And when you talked to them, did you feel them out?
I mean, it was nothing negative.
We had another church. It was nothing negative. We had Riata Springs offer. We have an opportunity, I believe, to play at Riata Springs. If you guys know where that's at, it's right across the what is it? This little canyon right here, if you will, right? It's right on Leslie, right? And I believe we have an opportunity to play in those fields. But if you want, I can check into Bethel and South Hills and feel them out as a place. Okay. Okay. What's that? It'll be messy. You guys are disgusting. See what you leave for me to clean up all the time. Okay, then I'll do that.
I'm assuming it's probably booked, but Claybell Park.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah. Yeah, they are. You can't get into that. Yeah. You got leagues. Okay, I'll look at, is there a preference, South Hills or Bethel? Okay.
Would it make sense to do another coaches meeting when we can actually, when we have the fields identified, and so we can make the, I think we're getting into a lot of those nuances here as far as like where the lines are going to be, where people are going to sit, that kind of stuff. And if we're doing set up, tear down, that kind of thing, it may be beneficial to just have a, when we know where we're going to be, anyone can come in, but we got, but we can support it.
Okay, so let me kind of reiterate what I think you're saying. If we decide that we're going to do it at Bethel, are you saying that you would like to have a meeting out there at Bethel and then kind of map out where these fields are going to go?
Yeah, so we can get some input and feedback on that one. I don't know if you want us to help with the decision making on any of this stuff, but if that's what we're looking for, it may be helpful for us to be on the field.
I absolutely want your input because I want you to be happy. I'm afraid of you. No, I do. I want to do what you guys want to do. I want this to be. I want your buy-in. You like a happy Matt? Apparently you don't. You're not doing a good job so far. No, is that kind of what you mean? Like you would want to meet out there? Okay.
Yeah, whether it's at South Hills or Bethel.
Friday before the game, when you guys know where you're gonna be, we can
Okay.
Saturday for an hour and just walk the field, understand, and make some things.
Okay. Yeah. I will say this. Are the lines are they burnt? Okay. Sweet. That makes my life happy. Because I paint lines every week. Yeah. Okay. I'll give him a call and ask him. That's the goal. Yeah, we'll try to get the goals back early. Yeah, the game's back earlier. Yeah. Yay! Let's stay here till 10. Okay, so I'm going to call Bethel and see if they can. We can do games out there in a couple weeks, and then you want to have a meeting out there.
I think he just wants to maybe start, if we start going through like games and the things that you're gonna do for coaching, and then if you don't know quite on this, have a separate one once we decide on it, instead of going over it back and forth. Now that we know we're gonna come back to it.
What's your name? Andrew. Andrew. Living good. Living good. Love it. Okay, when I find out from Bethel, I'm going to call you. You're going to go out there with me. And then we're going to blame everything on you. But you get all the glory. So it goes both ways. Oh, you like that part, huh? Okay. Okay. Sound like a plan so far? Okay. Okay. So I will start that process tomorrow. Okay. Coaching. Anyone not coached soccer before? Yeah, half of you. Wait, you've never coached? Not soccer? Soccer. Yeah. Okay. So as mentioned, I coached varsity soccer at Kennewick High. I coached girls for about 7 years, and I coached the boys for 5 years. And so I've experienced both ends of defeat. Every game I played, we lost 10-0, and then I've experienced success as well. We took the boys team from top 1,300 in the nation to top 100 in the nation, top 3 in the state, and so. I've been in both worlds. I know what it's like to this is horrible. I want to die, right? To this is great. I'm on top of the world. So I understand both worlds. And I'll tell you, when I was coaching girls, even though we were getting the snot beat out of us, the girls loved it. They loved the program, and they didn't want to leave. They wanted, and when the season was over, they wanted to come back. So I know that there's more, obviously, than just winning. And that's what we love about Upward, because the purpose of it is to minister to kids. And that's obviously the goal. We use soccer as the vessel to share Jesus with these kids and love on them. And so if you've never coached before, the first thing, right, really, truly, are they having the time of their life? Are you having fun? Are they having fun? And that is like the biggest thing that I really do care about, is that they're having a great time, that you're having a great time. Whatever we can do to make sure that you're having fun, I want to make sure that happens, because that's what matters more than anything. I know it doesn't feel that way because you want to win, right? The other thing that I love about Upward, especially in the soccer aspect, is the design of the program really is built to develop players, believe it or not. What Amber showed you on what's that thing called? No, I know the app, but the numbers, the rankings. Yeah, what's that called? It's called something. Huh? It's called something. Anyway, so what it is, it's. I think we called it the Matrix back in the day. I think that's what we called it, the Matrix. Yeah. So what the Matrix is what you'll do is you'll take your team roster and you'll evaluate your own team, your first day of practice, and you're going to find out who your best players are, and you're going to rank them number 1 through the last player on your program. So your best to not best. I don't want to say worst, but your best to not best. You're going to rank them. And then what you do is week 1, you're going to start with, let's say, your kindergartners, right? You're going to start your top 4 players because you're going 4v4. And the other team is going to start their top 4, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to play for, 6 minutes? And at the end of that 6 minutes, your next 4 come in, and the other team's next 4 come in. And then you keep that rotation going for that whole game, and the kids get the exact same amount of playing time on both teams all across the board. And the reason that I love that is because as a varsity coach, right, and my assistant coaches at Kennewick coached at Park Middle School. And so we ran the same system, the 4-3-3, from middle school all the way up. And so by the time, they were up, and we were awesome by that. They had figured it out. But one of the things that we find out, especially from middle school to high school, is that kids that are dominating in middle school are not dominating in high school because they develop, right? And not just skill level wise, but also they get bigger, they get stronger, and they get faster. The fast kids in middle school are no longer the fast kids in high school, right? And so what happens is the fast kids in middle school, if you're a coach and you want that kid to, if you want your team to win, you're going to play that kid, but you've got other kids that aren't getting developed that are going to end up getting stronger and faster, and they're going to move up, but they were never developed. Does that make sense? Right? So what I love about Upward is by giving it that equal playing time, the kids are learning those skills and they're getting that experience, and all they're doing is waiting for their body to catch up. But they're being developed, and that's what I love about the process of Upward. And any coach who knows what they're doing, this is the way that you do it at the young levels. The reason that I know that is because one of the things that we've learned in the soccer world in America, if you notice America, how we do soccer, we're not so great at it compared to the other countries, right? So what we will do is we will take the young kids from America, U13, and we'll go across the pond. We'll play England, we'll play Holland, and we'll win. And we'll go, look, we just beat Germany. We just beat, Italy or whatever at the 13 level. And then the 18 level comes along, and we're getting killed. And the reason is because in the European nations at the young levels, they do not care. They literally do not care about winning. They only care about development. And so they are doing things like passing the ball across the goal because that's what you do. That's what we are doing at the varsity level. We are passing the ball right in front of the goal, and we are doing it with comfort and ease because we know that we can control it. And we've been doing that, since these kids are in middle school, right? And in America, you're like, you never kick the ball across the goal because what's going to happen? They're going to steal it and they're going to score. In Europe, they don't care. Go ahead and score. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Great. You won a U13 medal. Woohoo. Wonderful. So they don't care about getting beat. In fact, they love getting beat by the Americans because the Americans are like, we just beat England and stuff like that. And we're like, we'll see in a couple of years, right? And so they are developing their program is what they're doing at the young ages. And certainly it shows. So that's why I like Upward, the way that they do things this way is it really is a development of players. We have in America this mindset of like, it's like you can't be competitive. We don't do this whole everyone gets a trophy or anything like that. And that's really not the mentality. The mentality is really development and allowing kids to mess up because you're trying to develop something that you want to see happen, even if that costs you goals, even if that costs you losses at the younger age, because no one really cares. Does that make sense? And so what we're doing is we are trying to so hard fight that everybody gets a trophy mentality. And what the misinformation is on that is they think that because I'm trying to develop, it means that I'm not trying to win. Why do you play? To win, right? So of course we're trying to win, but we care more about developing. We want to win the right way, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. I can't tell you how many kids came up to me, they're in middle school, telling me that they were the number one scorer in their club team or whatever, and they couldn't even make JV, right? It's because they're not being developed in their leagues. So, not saying that you guys are going to be professionals. What can you do one day a week? It's hard to develop kids one day a week, right? So have fun. Exactly. That's what we can do. We can have fun, and what we can do is we can let the game teach them. So as far as your practice is outlined, this is what I suggest. Halfway through, and this is the purpose of Upward, obviously, halfway through is when you'll do your devotional. And in your book, you will have a devotional that's written out for you. And, I would read it. I'm a pastor, so sometimes actually pretty much all the time, I did my own thing. And I'm okay with that, as long as it's coming from the Word of God, right? And so, the devotional might be, let's say it's about Zacchaeus, but I decide, you know what, today I'm going to talk about the woman at the well. I don't care, right? As long as it's from the Word. But that's the point, is that you're doing a devotional, you're telling these kids about Jesus, you're telling them about the love of God, about the forgiveness of God, you're telling them about the gospel, and you're teaching them to pray. That's the point that we're doing. We're not teaching on a devotional, we're not teaching about being good, moral, nice people. We're teaching these kids about Jesus. And you might be a young Christian, that's okay. But that's what we're teaching them, is we're teaching them about Christ. We're not teaching them about morality. We're not teaching them. Sure, we're teaching about good sportsmanship. Of course we are. But that extends from Christ. Does that make sense? So halfway through, the devotional is, I'm going to say, necessary. That's why we're doing it. So before your devotional, you are doing basically drills. Okay. Now those drills are going to be different from kindergarten and first and second grade than they are from the third through the sixth graders. And I'll just say this right across the board. And let me start off with this. I was talking to Amber, and here's my number. Last year, a couple coaches took me up on this, but they called me up and they said, will you run a practice? I want to watch you do it. And so I did. So here's my number. If you'd like me to run one of your practices, I'll be happy to come out and run one of your practices so you can see it. Like I said, I coached for a long time. Where I started coaching with girls soccer, I'll tell you kind of my evolution as a coach. I came in as a soccer coach highly interested in fundamental development. That's where I was. I wanted to teach kids how to dribble and how to kick and all that kind of stuff. What happened is they got onto the field and they didn't know what they were to do. And so I'd have girls come off the field. They were crying. They're like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. And she's yelling at me and all that kind of stuff. So it took me about 7 years of failure for coaching the girls team. Then I took over the boys program and I learned a ton and I knew things at that point. My first year of doing tryouts, I had all these stations and we were evaluating the talents of each of these kids. That's what we did year one. Year two and going forward for our tryouts at Kennewick High, what we did is I wrote up my formation on the board for every single player. So we had 60 guys that would come out, 60, 70 guys that would try out. I would write up on the board what my formation was and how I wanted to play it. And I said, that's what we're going to do this whole week, is I'm going to watch you guys. We're going to scrimmage, and I'm going to watch you run this formation and see if you can do it, because I'm looking for guys that know how to play. What we're trying to do for you guys to get on the same board, and we ran our formation all week long for tryouts. That's the only thing we did. So by the time our first day of practice came, they already knew our formation, and every drill that we did going forward, they saw how that drill played in to the system that we were playing. Does that make sense? You follow me? So what I do, for me, when I was coaching Upward, my first day of practice, yeah. So here's your soccer field. Boop, boom, halfway through. Boom, boom. Okay, I know you get some goals in here. Okay. So the first thing that I did when I was coaching Upward is I would put all my kids on this line. And the first thing that we did is I would, well, let me just say this. The first thing that I actually did is I met with all the kids on the sideline in the earshot of the parents, and I told them my expectations of the season so that the parents could hear. Okay, so I introduced myself, and I told them a little bit about soccer and stuff like that. But here's what I told the kids in the earshot of the parents. And I said, because, you know, I've been coaching soccer long enough that I have a little bit of authority to say this, but I looked at the kids and I said, you know what, you guys, I don't know if you guys have, who's ever played soccer before and how long you've been playing and, you know, questions like that. I said, here's the deal. I've been coaching soccer for a long time, and here's what I know. There is a whole bunch of different ways to play it. I bet you didn't know that Germany has a different system than Holland, and Holland has a different system than Italy, and Italy has a different system than Brazil, and Brazil has a different system than England. And if you want me to tell you those systems, I'll do it. Do you guys know the systems? And they're like, no. And I'm like, so because each of these different countries have different systems and how they play the game, I'm going to have a system of how I play the game, and I bet your parents have played soccer before, and they probably have played a certain way. And what they're going to do is they're going to yell at you during the game, and they're going to be telling you to do a certain thing, but that's not what I want you to do because we're playing this system. So I'm not saying that your parent is telling you the wrong thing. They're probably telling you the right thing in the system that they played in. But on this team, I need you guys to play the system that I'm playing. Does that make sense? So your parents aren't wrong. I just need you to be listening to me. And I do that in the hearing at the earshot of the parents. And quite frankly, a lot of times parents don't know what they're talking about. There are times where parents are like, go after that ball. And I'm like, I don't want them to go after the ball. That's not their position. It's that other kid. I want him to be going after the ball, right? And so they want them to try hard. They want them to care and all that kind of stuff. They're like, my kid's not trying. I'm like, he actually is. He's in the position that I need him to be in. I don't want him to move. I need him to stay there, right? So I'll do that I'll do something like that in the earshot of the parents, and so all the parents can know what my expectations are, and that I'm not putting them down or anything like that, but just nicely saying there's many different ways to play the game. This is the one that we're playing, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So then what I do is I go, come out onto the field, and I get them here on the line. And then what I do is I tell them, we taught vocabulary. And I say, these are the sidelines. This is the half line. This is the end line. And it, obviously, this is the penalty box. This is the box where the goalie gets to keep pick the ball up with his hands. This is called the 18. And this is called the 6, because this is 6 yards out from the end line. This is 18 yards out from the end line. So 18 and 6. If the ball is over here, this is a corner kick, and I'll explain that in a second. This would be the near post, and this would be the far post. Does that make sense so far? Okay. So then what I do is I tell the kids, okay, everyone run to the half line. Everyone run to the sideline. Everyone run to the 18. Everyone run to the 6, right? Why do I do that? Because in the game, I can say go forward or I can say go back, and they don't know how far they can go. I can say, hey, defense, push up to the half line, and they know where to go. And I'm good with that for now, right? Or if there's a free kick, I might say, everyone stand on the 18. Or there might be a corner kick, and I'm going to say, hey, I need you on the front post, I need you on the far post, and I need the rest of you guys on the 6, right? And so I use the vocabulary that I want to use in the game. And that way we can get on the same page when it comes to connection. Does that make sense? Right? And they all kind of get on the same page. And so that's the first thing I do is I talk about vocabulary. Just so you know, as far as the rules go, I'm probably preaching to the choir. If my team is going this direction, okay, and the other team is defending, okay, if my team kicks the ball out on the sideline, it's the other team's ball, and they bring the ball in with a throw-in, okay? And so the way that works is both hands have to be on the ball and both feet have to be on the ground. Both hands go behind the head, and you throw it in. You can step forward, and you can drag that back foot, but both feet have to be on the ground. Sound good? That's out of bounds on the sideline. My team kicks it out. The other team gets it. They throw it in. If my team kicks it out over the end line, it's obviously the other team's ball. But if my team kicks it out and it's their ball, they're going to take a goal kick, and that happens right here, right on the corner of that goal. Technically, they can put it anywhere on that line that they want to. They can put it anywhere they want to. But typically, that's where people will put it if it goes over here. But you can actually move it over here if you want to. No one cares. I will say this. This is a rule that's came out about 4 years ago, about 5 years ago. It used to be on a goal kick, the ball had to go outside of the 18 before anyone can touch it. That's no longer a rule. So the other team cannot go inside the 18, but you can have a player right next to it, and your player can just tap it 3 feet, and then game on. Once that happens, the other team can enter in. But, yes, I believe in upward, all levels, the other team is at the half line on a goal kick. Okay? Just letting you know that. If I happen to take a shot and it happens to hit their defender and it goes out of bounds, they touched it last. That means it's my ball, right? Since it's my ball and it went over the end line, that is now a corner kick. And that is going to be on the side that ball went out on according to the goal. So if the ball goes out on this side, then the corner kick's over here. If the ball went on this side, the corner kick is over here. Does that make sense? Okay? Makes sense over? So those are the rules with that. Obviously, handballs they're a free kick. And that's pretty much the gist. Now, Justin will probably talk to the refs. Let me just tell you about, let me throw this out to refs. This is how I like to ref in upward. This, I see refereeing as also an extension of the ministry and the development of the player. So if what I would like to see is if my team kicks the ball out of bounds, the other team's throwing it in, and they throw it in wrong in a real game, it goes the other direction. I would like to blow the whistle, say, hey, buddy, this is what you need to do, and teach them the right way to do it, have them throw it in, and we're good, right? Handball or something like that, you can blow the whistle if you want, but just teach the player instead of just saying handball, blow the whistle and say, hey, buddy, you can't use your hands, all right? So we're gonna put a free kick right here, right? So I'm talking about the older players, just so you guys know. But I like it to be an extension of the referees being a part of the ministry and just helping develop the players. And I think it builds a great spirit of the program. And that goes with us as coaches as well. It's like we can get kind of all heated in the game and competitive and stuff like that. Is Fesser here? Michael Fesser? The first game that he ever coached, he was literally on the field coaching the players during the game. I'm like, Fester, dude, you have to be on the sideline. He goes, really? I can't be on the field? I'm like, dude. So then he's running up and all the way. The other team, their bench is right here, and he's running all the way down. Dude, Fester, you have to be on this side. This is your side right here. So as a coach, you get this half. The other coach gets this half. That's what you get, right? Don't be running into the other teams. But he's excited. That's great. Good for him, right? But yes, be good sports and really try to develop the other players. With the younger levels, you guys don't have referees. One of the things that we struggle with the younger levels because there are no referees is the intimidation factor of, can I call a foul on the other team? Work with each other. And make the spirit be development. Sometimes the other coach doesn't know what to call because they're brand new and they don't know what they're doing, right? And so what happens is they think, one coach thinks the other coach is letting stuff get away and stuff like that. Just call it. And this is what I would suggest. Let me I'm going to revert to younger kids. What we're doing with kindergartners is we're not doing throw-ins. With kindergartners, when the ball goes out of bounds, you're going to throw a ball right back in, and they're going to continue to play. So you keep the game going, right? No restarts. And the only time you would do a restart is at a goal kick. So if the ball goes out of bounds here, you throw in a new ball, and they keep playing. You find someone to go and chase the ball and collect it. but you will continue to just throw the ball in, and these kids will keep playing and playing. I was watching last year at the kindergarten level. This kid was shooting from way out here. He was rocking it. And he had like 10 or 12 shots in a half. It was unbelievable. And it's because they just kept throwing the ball in, and there was much more action. When that ball goes out of bounds and you're waiting for the kid to throw it in and he doesn't know, you're wasting so much time standing. And then kids get bored. So with the kindergartners, we don't do out of bounds. The ball goes out, you just throw it, and they just keep going. They just keep going. They just keep going. We will do throw-ins for the, second and third, or is it first and second? First and second. We'll do throw-ins for them. We'll start getting them into the concept. But again, you guys will be reffing your own games, and so if there's a handball or something like that, just be gracious with each other, blow it, you know what I would do. This is just me. But when it comes to fouls for first and second graders, if the kid picks the ball up or something like that, it's a foul. I wouldn't blow a foul. I might blow the whistle and just go, "Hey, buddy, you can't pick it up with your hands." Then roll the ball and go, "Game on." No free kicks. Just explain the foul so the kid knows, and then just roll that ball and keep playing. It's a 50-50 ball basically, right? Just keep the game going and let that game teach them, because the more that they play is really the more that they're going to learn. One of the biggest pieces of advice the best piece of advice I got to coach was to say little. So I was taught, keep my instruction to 1 minute and only have 1 point. If you have to, do 2, no more than 3. So at my halftime for my varsity guys, I never gave more than 3 points at a halftime talk. Never more than 3 points. You know why? Because they don't even remember one. And even if they do remember it, they haven't practiced it and they can't do it. You just can't, right? And so I always saw my halftime talks as a literal waste of time. Sometimes we just told jokes. Because I learned this when I was coaching girls. I created this whole plan at halftime. You're going to go out there and do it. And they go and they completely did the opposite thing. They came in at the end of the game. We lost it by like 1. And I said, I was so disappointed. I'm like, you guys, you didn't do anything we talked to at halftime. And they felt all bad and stuff like that. And we went to the restaurant, and a girl comes up to me. She said, "Coach, you're right. We didn't do anything you told us to do." And I said, "Listen, that's on me because we never practiced it. I can't just sit here and tell you what to do and expect you to go out and do it. If we don't practice it, then..." So it was a lesson for me. So the more they're playing the game will be the coach. They will learn by the game. Let the game coach them. Does that make sense? So going back into practices, what I like to do is the first half is try to put them into positions and let them know what the positions are and how you want it to be played. I'll do the older kids first, right? So I would have my formation, whatever you want it to be, I would have that marked out, and maybe I would take cones and put it on the ground. Maybe I've got a board like this where I can draw it up for them. But I would I usually do cones on the ground, and I show them the positions. This is how I want you to do it. Then what we do is we go out onto the field, and I put them into position. And what I do for the older kids is I never restart with, even if they score a goal in a scrimmage, I never restart at the half. I do all my restarts at goal kicks. And during a scrimmage, this is just me, during a scrimmage, I'll never do corner kicks. I will take every restart at a goal kick. Why? Because besides throw-ins, it's your number 1 restart in a game. Right? And what I like to do is I like to build it instead of just booting it. I like to build it. And it's up to you how you want to do it, but I like to work on kids building it out. And so that's what we do is I have my players, if you want to talk about this, we can. I'll just let you do it. But I do all my restarts as a goal kick, and I put the other team at our scrimmage at the half line, and we explain what we're going to do, and we just try different patterns to work our way out. The first time we do it, these players, the defensive guys during a scrimmage, they do not defend. They just get in the way because you can't possibly be good at this right at the start, right? So they don't defend. They just get in the way. And we start working on patterns to get out. And then they come and they start defending, I might say 50%, I might say 80% or whatever. But we're beginning to build it out. And that's what I do at the first half of practice is I teach the kids the positions, and then I teach them how we're going to work it out from a goal kick. And then we'll do it both ways. We'll let this team do it as well. Does that make sense? And then what we'll do is we'll do our devotion. And then what we'll do is we'll do a full scrimmage. Okay, now we're just going to go for it. And that's what I would do at my first practice, because now at least they come in knowing the next practice what we're trying to do in formation. How many practices do you get before your first game? You get 2 practices. So imagine at your first practice, what you're doing is you're doing all these drills, right? And you haven't even talked about formation yet. You haven't even talked about positioning yet. And the next week, maybe you do, and then you got a game. Now we got an entire practice where they have an idea of positioning and what you're trying to do. And then your next practice, you go, okay, guys, show me. And the game is beginning to teach them. Does that make sense? And I was the type of guy that just wanted to straight out start doing, rondos, or let's start doing 2v1s, and let's do all these fundamental things. And they have no idea what they're doing in the game. So just if you want to talk to me about formation and strategy and stuff like that, but that's what I would do is I would figure out what your positions are, do that at the first practice, put them in position, and run kind of like a mock scrimmage type thing, do your devotion, and then have a real scrimmage. Simple, right? Yeah, we haven't even done drills yet. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so talk to me, remind me, so 5th and 6th graders, were you guys doing that? The question was, do we have positions where defenders can't cross the half line at the 5th and 6th grade level, or can anyone go anywhere they want? Who coached 5th and 6th grade last year? No one did. Okay. Yes. So at the kindergarten level and at the, so kindergarten, was it 1st and 2nd? Those are the 2 levels. So kindergarten level, 1st and 2nd level, you're 4v4. And this is what we teach at the younger level. The younger level, what we do, what's that? Is 4v4? Yeah. Yeah. So at the younger levels, kindergarten and then 1st and 2nd, this is kindergartners, 1st and 2nd. What you do is you will have your 4v4, so you're going to have 2 defenders. I'll make them the X. They're X's. And you're going to have 2 defenders, and then you're going to have 2 offensive players. Your offensive players cannot come back and defend. Your defender players cannot go past the half line and go and attack. So this is for kindergarten and 1st and 2nd graders. So that we are making that rule. And the reason that we make that rule is because it prevents that beehive where you've got 8 kids that are chasing that ball, right? And so now that will put 2v2, and here it'll be 2v2, and we get much better action this way. Does it make sense? And let me, I believe what we did is for the 1st and 2nd graders. Who taught 1st and 2nd grade last year? 1st and 2nd grade, I believe what we did is one of these defenders was allowed to go both sides. So kindergarten, 2 always, 2 always. They cannot come here, they cannot come here. 1st and 2nd grade, 2 always stays, and 1 always stays. 1 guy can go anywhere he wants. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? And the reason we're doing it is because we're training these younger kids the concept of positioning and spacing. So you don't even have to go into it or teach or anything like that. Just tell them, kindergartners, you got 2 defenders, 2 offenders, and they get more soccer that way. They start getting the concept of spacing. They get the concept of passing. They get the concept of taking shots out. You don't even have to teach it. The game just teaches it for them because they've got space to do it because there's not 8 kids around the ball, right? And so that's so kindergarten, 2 cannot cross. 1st and 2nd, 2, 1, and then 1 can go everywhere. Sound good? Yes. Oh, you mean when you're reffing? Yeah. Well, you're going to have a conversation with them. And so, there's a couple of routes that you can go. You can start with them, talk to them. Then you might have to go talk to the coach. So if it's if I've got a forward going against a defender and they're not getting along, then maybe what I might ask the coach do is, hey, can we get one of these guys to be a forward, or we might have to switch these guys up. One's coming in when the other's not, or something like that. Yeah. So you just have to talk with the player first, try to see if you're getting anything different, then go to the coach. And say, hey, is there something that we can do, about here? Have we had problems with anything like that? Usually, yeah, yeah. I don't think we typically have problems with that. Everything seems to be pretty good. Let's see. As far as the older kids go, again, positioning. Choose your formation, how you want to play it. And then once they start understanding the concepts of what you're trying to do, then as the season goes on, I might be at the beginning of practice start throwing in some drills. And if you got questions, we can do 2v. I can explain to you some games for 2v1 and some fun games. I can certainly help you guys with that. But actually, the fundamentals and the drills, I would start implementing later on in the season and getting them in the concept of actually playing the game. And that's just me. I'm not saying that you have to do that. Some of you guys have played. Some of you guys are veterans. That's great. I'm just letting you know how I do it. I just coached. I did a guest coaching gig for some people that go to our church, and they said, hey, can you run a practice for them? And I did that with the players. And the players really like knowing where they're at and what to do, and they start seeing each other. With these kids were fifth through 8th graders, these kids were. First day of practice, and I just get it there and I line it out for them, tell them this is what you want to do, and oh my gosh, they were already doing stuff, and I didn't have to coach it because they start grasping, they start understanding the game. Once they know, what I'll do with my players and positions, I'll go, so when you get the ball, who you've got where, right? So you know what your options are. And they start figuring it out, and it's really cool. So that's why I liked working on positioning formation later on in my coaching evolution, because I waited too long in the season to coach that, and kids got frustrated. Not to mention that they actually want to play the game. They don't want to do the stinking fundamentals. The other thing that I did is, another thing that I learned was that I never did conditioning during the season. If you do conditioning during the season, you're promoting injury. And so all of my practices were nonstop. I didn't do breaks. We just kept going, and they loved it. They had the time of their life. And when you've got them working and doing it, they don't even realize that they're working. And so, anyway, I can kind of nerd out on that. Are there any questions on that? Anyone afraid to ask a question? Okay, there's my number. If you want me to come and run a practice for you, I will totally do that. Let's see. What am I missing? Yeah.
So I thought 77 we had 14 players on the team. 2 goalies, right? 6.
So we have 12 players.
Okay.
You have less, 12 per team. So we could have it 16 instead, but
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. There's 2 things to discuss there, because I didn't quite completely talk about the matrix. One is 12. You got 12 players. Do you want to keep the 7v7, or do you want to drop it down to 6v6? So 7v7 would be 1 goalie, 6 players on the field. If you go 6 players, you would have 1 goalie, 5 people on the field. Keep it 7.
And it was easy because I did 2 defense, 2 mid, 2
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah. Yeah. For the sake of formation, I like 7-2, and for the sake of it's one more player getting on the field and playing. Let the kids play. That's how I would go for it too. Yeah. 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 So what happens in the matrix? You'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and you're going to start. Oh gosh, I don't even know if I did that right. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so here's your players, and then here is your first quarter and your second quarter, right? And so in my first quarter, I'm going to play my top 7 players, right? And then the second quarter, right? So these guys are not playing. Okay, then the second quarter, I'm starting with number 8, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Does that make sense? Okay, and so now what's happening is this particular quarter, these guys get to play twice in a row. But then when the third quarter comes around, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now these guys are playing twice in a row. You see that? And you just keep following that on.
And your app will do that for you.
Yeah, your app does that. Yeah, once you put your players in, your app does that. But that's why we want to follow that. Now, do you have kids that that don't show up to a game? Yeah. And do you have a kid that's going to get hurt in the game? Yeah. If you can, if I had a kid that got hurt in the middle of one of these quarters, I really don't care who you throw in. I really don't. You can sit here and you can go the next kid and stuff like that, but really you're kind of, he could either go back in the next quarter. Either way, you got a kid that's getting more time, and I really don't care how you do it. I don't care if you put one of your best players in there. It's just for a period or whatever. But then you would just continue on with that, if that makes sense. But stay with that system, because if you are doing this, so my top 7 and the other team is doing their top 7, you're going even. We had evaluations for this reason, right? So you're trying to match your best players with players that are their caliber. If you don't do that, then we're not benefiting the kids, because they need to be able to play against kids against their caliber. Does that make sense? But not only that, you're gonna have your lower tier, like right here, you're gonna have your lower tier kids playing with 2 good kids. That's a good ratio. We're throwing 2 strong players with our young players, and they get to kind of get that feel but not be overwhelmed by it. You see that? It's a really good system. And then obviously you begin to even it out with your middles right here. So it's really smart. I like the system. It's a good, as long as everyone keeps to that, I think you're doing right by the players across the board. Are your brains full? Was that helpful? Is anyone interested in me running a practice? Fine. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I can. Will you ref a couple games for me? Yeah, I'd love to ref. Yeah, but only if it's at Kennewick. Then I'm not going on grass. Are you kidding me? It's unnatural. All right. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, and if you guys have questions, feel free to come up to me afterwards. I will try to post some drills. Oh, by the way, kindergartners, I'll just say this. You don't necessarily have to do drills. You want to sit down with those kids and play Duck, Duck, Goose, Red Rover, Red Light, Green Light. You don't even have to have a soccer ball. I do have some really good, you can play tag with a soccer ball. It's a great game to play because it teaches them awareness and it teaches them to dribble and things like that. I've got some great drills and stuff like that. I will say this, if you're ever going to do a drill, don't do a drill where the kids are standing in line. It's really boring. So if you want some suggestions, come to me. I'll give you some. They're like tag games where everyone's involved, everyone's doing something, and no one's stopped. But if they're standing in line, they're doing nothing. They're wasting time and they're bored. So I would try to stay away from drills where kids are standing in line. But for the kindergarten, don't feel bad if you're playing games that have nothing to do with soccer. And you may even do that. Who cares? Right? And then they'll just get out there and chase the ball. So if you want to do stuff, that's great, but don't feel bad at the kindergarten level if you're just playing fun games like that. All right, yes.
So I know you briefly explained it, but for first and second graders, you want to do
As far as formation? Yes, we'll do throw-ins for first and second graders. Mm-hmm.
what about old kids, 4 kids?
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was doing that at that level. Yeah, and speaking of which, little nugget, when I was teaching that grade, my practices were that's all I did the first half. All I did for the whole season was work on goal kicks and corner kicks. That's all I did. I did that for the first half, and then we would do our devotion, then we would scrimmage. And then in the games, they knew how, because that's the most. That's the number one restart is your goal kicks and corner kicks at that level. And so they came into the game knowing what to do. And so that's just me. People have different philosophies, and that's okay. You're wrong, but I don't care. No, just kidding. Okay, any other questions? Okay, yeah, I'll pray, and I'm happy to nerd out on soccer if you guys want to chat. Father, thank you so much for these guys and their hearts. I thank you. Lord, even though that there were things that they didn't like and wanted changed and all of that, I just thank you for their graciousness and their patience with all of that. And I thank you that hopefully this works out in a way that will just benefit everyone. And so we thank you for that. We lift up the opportunity to play either at Bethel or South Hills or something that will be favorable to this program. So we put that in your hands. I pray for these coaches and Lord, that you'd fill them with your spirit, that when they come and hang out with these kids, that they would see your joy and your love in them, and that when these kids leave practice and when they leave their game, they know that they've just been in the presence of Jesus. And we pray for certainly good sportsmanship and good hearts and good attitudes. I see it here, and I thank you for that. Lord, we just pray that we would follow through that through the year, and that I would just be done in the power of your Spirit and not in our flesh. Again, thank you for these guys. We just pray that you'd be honored during this season, that these kids would grow up learning something about soccer, but more important, learning about just loving you and loving their fellow teammates. Be honored. We love you, and thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you so much, guys.
So while he was talking, I passed out your rosters. Okay, this is the lineup that you're going to use that the kids are going to be called through when they go through the tunnel. So that's kind of the order. Now, when we call them through the tunnel, it's not like they're going one at a time. It's like once the team starts, we just read through the first names and you can just send them all, so they don't necessarily have to be in that order, but that's what they're going to be called in that order so that you guys are aware of it. Kind of gives you that roster. And then in the back, I need at least one coach from each team to come back and grab your box and your water bottles. So you have that. And then I did forget to go over this really quick. In there, they're the boxes for the kids and stuff. You need to have everyone try on their jerseys. And if they ordered shorts, their shorts as well. And I will post on Band one for exchanges, and I will list what I need there. But I need all the information for exchanges by Friday, whatever the 8th. 8th is Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the 12th. So by like 12 o'clock on midnight, I need all the exchanges because I'm putting the order in either that night or Saturday to try to get them to send me everything before the first game the following Saturday. And then all those exchanges that need to happen, I need them returned to the office to me. So if it's easier for you as the coach to just keep them and keep which players' names go on each of them and get them to the office to me on Monday, or if you tell the parents to bring them in. But I do the exchanges first within our league, and then I order whatever I need to additionally if I can't exchange them within the league. So I need those back to me as quick as possible when it gets to trying them on. So really, really important that first practice, they try them on and you have that information and you get it to me, and that you get it to me on Band in one spot. Like I said, I don't mind being text and this, but when things get in, when I have emails and texts and Band and all the different areas, something's going to get missed. So if you text it to me and I say, please put it on Band under the thread, that's why, because I'll miss it otherwise. So I'll have one that'll say jersey exchange with a big picture, and all the things will go under that. Okay? Any questions on that? All right, so come back and see me, and we'll get those passed out quick, and then thank you guys.